and the wheel that is the transfer narrative continues to turn. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. I am your host, Matt, and I hope you're all having a wicked day. So, transfers, it never stops, right? The transfer season is literally as big a part of football as actually the game is itself. It's the only thing we've got to get us through those cold summer months without a litany of football to keep us entertained. Obviously, there is the Club World Cup right now, and obviously Chelsea are in that, but in between matches, it's nice to dive into the juicy bits of news, isn't it? So, without further ado, let's get into it. The rumblings surrounding Jamie Gittens of Borussia Dortmund continue to grow. Most of the stories that I'm seeing right now are saying imminent, right? And do you know what? I kind of take issue with that word in terms of football. Everything's always imminent, and imminent in itself means it's about to happen, like, right now. Like, Kepa Arrizabalaga's just gone to Arsenal. That was imminent as of yesterday, a few hours ago, okay. But Jamie Gittens has been imminent for like a week, and that's not really what imminent means, is it? But either way, there does seem to be many strong indications that the deal is going forward, and we will likely to be welcoming the new tricky left winger into our ranks before long. I'm not even actually sure what happens. I guess they'll just, like, anyone that we sign now will just go to the club and train until the rest of the squad comes back. And you would have thought anyone we do sign right now that isn't at the Club World Cup is probably going to feature heavily in our preseason. So Jamie Gittens, yes, is my ostensible answer to that. I've talked about him a little bit before. He's already agreed a 7-year deal. There was some noise about maybe Bayern Munich coming in for him, but if the news is to be believed, imminently, he's going to be a Chelsea player. Cool. Maybe that was what lit a fire under Tyreek George the other day, because even though he only came on at the end of that Esperance game, he was looking wicked. But yeah, like, aside from having a good game, Noni Madueke isn't really the answer there, is he? Maybe he's an option. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's good to have another option to do something slightly different with, but we need a right-footed left winger who wants to essentially cut in, score goals, and, be a bit more of an attacking force. We've been missing that for quite some time. Truth be told, we haven't really had a successful left winger since Hazard, right? Timo Werner, less said about him the better. Raheem Sterling, obviously not. Mykhailo Mudryk, and obviously Jadon Sancho, who was not terrible but underwhelming. It's just been a bit of a dumpster fire, hasn't it? The left wing situation for a really, really long time now has just not really gone well at all. I even remember at one point we were putting Mason Mount out there. We have been devoid of that position for such a long time, and obviously there has been quite a heavy focus on the right, I guess, but hopefully that's about to end. Maybe Jamie Gittens is the answer. He doesn't need to be Eden Hazard. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need to absolutely light the world on fire. But ultimately, we need a winger that can contribute 12 goal involvements a season consistently. I think that's not a particularly unreasonable thing to expect from a winger that you're wanting to challenge for titles. So, Jamie Gittens, imminently, hopefully, we'll see. Not so much transfer news in itself, but an interesting tidbit concerning Nicolas Jackson. The Chelsea Chronicle reports that Enzo Maresca does not consider Nicolas Jackson untouchable or part of his plans anymore going forward. Not necessarily not part of his plans, but not like that hugely integral part that he has been for the last few seasons. And that's probably going to be a mix of a few things, right? The red cards, do you know what I mean? The discipline where, he obviously was banned for the Esperance game. He's going to be banned for the Benfica game, and he's going to be banned for at least the first game of the Prem when the new season kicks in as well. So you can't even really go forward with him in your plans because we can't use him. So whether that means he's going to be sold or not, I guess is different. He might just be demoted kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, like, obviously Liam Delap, if he's got a goal and an assist in 3 games now. So if Liam Delap can continue, 2 goal involvements in 3 games is pretty good going. And if he can carry on like that, then Nicolas Jackson's not really going to get a chance, is he? So yeah, not necessarily transfer news in itself. I just thought that was an interesting tidbit as it could lead to transfer news. The Chelsea Chronicle also reports about Rodrigo again, and I'm still not totally sold on this one, to be honest. I think that Rodrigo is just going to break the bank a little bit too much for us. He'd be a great player to get, don't get me wrong, but I mean, do you spend 50 mil ish on Jamie Gittens and then spend 80 on Rodrigo? I don't know. I'm not against this as like, I think he's a great player, and I think if we could get him and it was reasonable and it didn't upset anyone and it worked and was conducive to good squad building, then yeah, cool, get Rodrigo in. I just don't think that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. For instance, I could imagine Arsenal going, here's 80 mil, here's 300 grand a week or 200 grand a week or something mental like that. Do you know what I mean? Because they really need to address some of those situations in their team. For us, I don't know, man. I'm not necessarily sure it's the right idea. I think, although we've obviously got a massive hole in the left wing, I don't know what it is. I'm just not sold that Rodrigo's the answer. Maybe we can chat about it in the comments. Inform me, educate me. What am I missing about Rodrigo that makes these links keep coming back? A couple of new rumours about players on their way out. Supposedly, Marseille are interested in Benoit Badiashile. This is not wholly surprising, I guess, because there are also continuing rumours about Jared Branthwaite coming in. He's a left-footed guy. Benoit Badiashile was really good in his first season. Has never really torn up trees. It's never, it's kind of never been like, get Badiashile on, he's got to play. Obviously, at the moment, Levi Colwill has got that spot locked down, and despite maybe having a few issues with his temperament and, do you know what I mean, and maybe needing to grow into the leadership role a little bit more, Levi Colwill looks like a solid bet, and I don't think he's going anywhere. Benoit Badiashile, I think it was 30 mil. We got him for 30, 35 mil, something. I imagine we get something like that. What I have a sneaking suspicion of is that it'll be a loan. I feel like Badiashile's maybe too expensive for a Marseille at the moment to go out and drop 35, 40 mil on. And obviously, it'd be a good one to get off of our books, even if it's just for the season, so we can rearrange a little bit. And with the likes of Achiempong really coming into his own, we need to start thinking about how we make space for all of these players. So Badiashile, yeah, I wouldn't be super sad to see him go. I have a sneaky feeling if he does go, it'll be on loan initially, just to make room in the squad, rather than, because I don't think people are going to look at Badiashile and be like, he's the guy, I'm going to throw all this money at him. And one piece of news I really did not like at all was apparently Dortmund are sniffing round Josh Achiempong. There's probably not much in this, truth be told, but it's just a scary prospect, isn't it? Because people probably would pay a few quid for, I say a few quid when, you got to think, if you sell Badiashile for 30 mil, you end up maybe making about like 10 mil profit based on the contract length and what you bought him for and whatever. But if you sell someone like Josh Achiempong for 15 or 20 mil, although that seems really low, ultimately you do make more money like that. It's just a horrible way that amortization and football finances are working at the moment. I don't think anyone is going to be happy, are they, if we sell Josh Achiempong to Dortmund? No. So it's just a flying rumour that I've seen. I don't think there's anything particularly concrete in it. Ultimately, he's smashing it at the Club World Cup at the moment, and Maresca has come out and said he loves him, so I don't think this one holds much weight. Goalkeeper stuff. God, we love talking about goalkeeper stuff at the moment, don't we? I don't think I've ever spent so much time talking about goalkeepers as I do right now. So even though Chelsea have come out and been like, we're happy with our 4 goalkeepers, everyone is brilliant, and it's all la-di-da, that maybe was a lie, because what we're seeing now, obviously, we put a bid in for Mike Maignan initially, and although that looks like that's not going to happen even after the Club World Cup, that instantly says we're not happy with our goalkeeping situation. So supposedly there is a little bit of news surrounding Marc-André ter Stegen, and this feels like a strange one. So he's still at Barcelona. He's 33 years old now. He obviously had like reasonably good spell with them. He played really well for Barcelona for a long time, but they'll probably be looking to shift him on because they want a new first choice. We are in a situation at the moment where, so maybe Mike Penders is the one that they want for the future. He's not ready yet. We are not happy with the 8 million other goalkeepers that we've got on our books. So, and Maignan, although not as old as ter Stegen, he's 29 heading into his 30s. The fact that we're even talking about keepers like that says that we're just looking for stopgaps, doesn't it? We just need someone in the sticks to help us stay in the top 4 and maybe challenge for like the League Cup or the FA Cup or something. I'm not holding any particular grand ambitions about winning the Champions League this year. But it is nice to see that we are being linked with a goalkeeper, because I am having nightmares about Rob Sanchez. Not literally nightmares. I am just really worried that we are just going to end up with Sanchez for another year. It's like I've done a few match previews now where I've done my lineups, and every single time I put him out, I'm always like against my better will and judgment, because if it's just one of those weird things, isn't it, where we've been backed into this Sanchez shaped corner where we have to put him out because he's the best of a bad bunch. So it's really difficult. I don't think you put all of that pressure on Mike Penders right now. That just doesn't seem like a good idea. And Jorgensen's not very good. I can't even remember what other keeper we've taken out with this. I know Bergstrom's gone now. Bettinelli's gone. Do you know what I mean? They are dropping like flies. And speaking of Marcus Bettinelli, shame on you. Shame on you for lambasting Chelsea's winning mentality. That is not actually true. He didn't lambast our winning mentality. He just said that obviously Man City have a winning mentality. But the news reports are spinning it that Marcus Bettinelli has come out and said bad things about Chelsea. I guess in a veiled way, maybe that's what he said, right? But ultimately he was just bigging up his team. So don't go in on Marcus Bettinelli. He did a good job for us for a very long time, and he was happy not to play football and just be there and get paid to be a training dummy for the rest of the squad. So you know what? Fair play to him. There is gonna be open heart surgery again on our team team this year. That is just absolutely going to happen, isn't it? Obviously, ever since Blueco have come in, and for the couple of years before that as well, we've just been buying players and selling players en masse, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. I do think things will slow down a little bit once we get a bit more comfortable and our first team is something, you know, like how Liverpool kind of played the same team for a few years and they were doing really well with it. If we can get anywhere near that sort of level, I think it will slow down a bit, but I think every transfer window, maybe not the winter ones, but at least every summer transfer window for Chelsea now, there is always going to be a reasonable amount of outgoings and incomings, because Clearlake and Blueco, they look at it all differently, don't they? It is so much about asset building. Do you know what I mean? They are trying to build the value of their business by buying people that are not necessarily going to be in the team. Like, this is the thing as well, isn't it? It's quite hard to swallow, but the truth of the fact is, a lot of these people we buy, they were never going to get in the first team. Maybe there's an outward chance for everyone, do you know what I mean? But all you people like your Angelos and Diego Moreiras and David Datro Fofanas and Renato Vegas, and do you know what I mean? We've probably bought like 20 of these kinds of players since Blueco have come in, and none of them were seriously like, do you know what? Jordi Petrovic was probably that, even though he ended up getting used, obviously, in a lot of the Pochettino season. A lot of us has had to see him go. The mindset behind him at the start, because Mike Penders has been with us for a while now as well, the mindset behind Jordi Petrovic was probably the same. It was probably just, we'll get him in, raise his stock, get him out, there's money on the books. So, you know, I think it's going to be less about trying to get these big, massive blockbuster figures for players, like your 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 mils or whatever for these players, and keep a really constant revolving door of low to mid-range players that we can up to double their value in short spaces of time and get them out. That seems to be what I think is happening. So I don't think we're ever going to have much in the way of calm, relaxing transfer windows where we just strengthen one or two positions because we need to improve, because ultimately a lot of the players that are being bought aren't being bought to go into the team. It's the business practice of the new owners. I don't love it, but the truth of the fact is they're probably going to set a trend, aren't they? This is probably the more successful clubs get, the more money they're able to spend. Initially, I can see this kind of thing becoming a bit more common practice, truth be told. So that's it for today, guys. Little bits of news here and there and my thoughts and opinions. As ever, I will keep my ear to the ground for any more breaking news, and I will try to be here as quick as possible to talk to you all about it. If you've enjoyed the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking, sharing and subscribing. Hit all the algorithmical buttons. I am at the beginning of a very slow race to 1,000 subs so I can get monetized and make this my job, and I need your guys' help. So thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a wicked day. Thanks very much, guys. Peace.